Hello and welcome to this Yuletide reading for the collective. We're going to begin today by pulling from the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle to get our theme of the reading. And then I've got the Yuletide Tarot as well as the Untamed Elements Oracle deck to get more information for you on this theme at the time you find this video. Solstice, oh how nice. Card 34, all hail the cunning truth in which it burns deep within the root. Rise above the ashes and claim the gods are waiting your glory, your name. Wow. Okay, and then I just got a little nosy here and I looked at the bottom of the deck. It's Cold Moon number 6. Take with thy dreariest of moments, release me from their tongue and nourish me with light. Wow, so there's almost like a phoenix rising sort of vibe, isn't there, with these two cards? Let's read about them and then we'll pull from the tarot and the Untamed Elements deck. So let's start by reading about Solstice, card 34. Give me a second here. All right. Keywords: ignited fire within, find self, and truth. It says, we all experience times when we feel the need to retreat, hide, and lick your wounds. This is especially true after experiencing a betrayal, displacement, a significant life change, or a brutal loss. Slipping away into the darkness is a critical part of healing. It allows you time away from other people's often critical eye to break down and purge the emotional weight you are carrying. However, one must be careful about spending too much time in this healing space. You can become lost in the comfort of darkness and forget to come back to the light where others have the joy of basking in your glory. Solstice asks you to permit yourself to let your inner light shine. You've hidden your beauty for far too long. You may be feeling vulnerable and afraid, but know that there are people out there who want what you have to offer. Having a breakdown isn't a fun process, but building yourself back up can be truly liberating and a beautiful experience. It's time to rise from the ashes, Sacred One, and allow yourself to fly. Wow, that's powerful. Let's read about the Cold Moon, card 6. It says the keywords are release, purge, resourcefulness, and nurturing. It says cold moon is a full moon that occurs in December. Like all full moons, it represents illumination and brings clarity to things that have remained hidden. Having a full understanding of your situation allows you to release what has held you back and seize resources you may have missed otherwise. Now is not the time to give up. There is support and help for you. The cold moon is shining on your spread, guiding you to see how many resources you have. You may have to look in unexpected places that perhaps have escaped your notice until now, or you may need a change in perspective. You could be focusing on what's wrong rather than seeing additional pathways to success that are available to you now. And just real quick, look at that. Under the cold moon is self-care, card 31. All right. Let's see what wants to come out in the tarot, shall we? So messages for the viewer on this idea of Phoenix rising, coming out of hermit mode, seeing resources that are available, maybe have been for a long time, but have been left unnoticed or not unnoticed, but yeah, like unrealized. So the Four of Gifts in reverse and the King of Candles in reverse come out. So Four of Gifts is Four of Pentacles in reverse. King of Candles is King of Wands in reverse. Interesting. Five of Gifts upright. That's the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, so I really feel that source in this reading, oh nice. Okay, Eight of Candles. Upright, that's Eight of Wands. Knight of Gifts. In reverse, that is Knight of Pentacles. Wow. And then bottom of the deck is the Nine of Canes. That's a Nine of Swords. All right, so this is a powerful reading. Spirit is clearly really wanting to meet you where you are at / have been in some deep solitude, some deconstructing of what hasn't been working, frankly, some difficulty, and really wants to offer some illumination / some hope to you in the most grounded way. Let's see what Ray of Light. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Okay, Ray of Light. Yeah. Look at this card. Look how beautiful it is. That's exactly, we'll have to read about this card. Maybe we'll start there. We'll read about this card and then we'll decode what came out of the tarot. Oh my gosh, look at that. At the bottom of the deck, under the Nine of Canes is the Nine of Gifts. So under the Nine of Swords is the Nine of Pentacles. Wow. This is powerful. Okay, so let's read about this Ray of Light card. I really like it with the Eight of Candles. And then we'll decode a little bit in terms of what came out in the tarot. Okay, so Ray of Light is an air card, and it looks like it is the last in the suit of air, which is noteworthy to me. The way I often read Oracle is kind of similar to tarot in terms of how the authors and creators decide to arrange the cards. And I do feel I often read when something is at the end of a suit, there's some like maturity, so to speak, that's been gained in that awareness. So let's read about this Ray of Light card. It says, Ray of Light offers speedy luminosity. Well, that's just like the Eight of Candles here, isn't it? That's interesting. Eight of Wands, Eight of Candles is often speed. It's going fast. His bright spectrum beams wide, a fundamental constant of nature that allows us to see and understand our world. His reasonings polarize everything in his path, intensifying exactness and focusing on the impalpable. Out of him we create realities. In his brightness, all inhibitions subside, all uncertainties fall away. What was once blurred focuses with sharp clarity, aligning your perspectives with omniscience. Ray of Light reminds that where your attention goes, energy flows. Your consciousness is a ray of light, imbuing life-giving nourishment to everything it highlights. What you emphasize with your awareness can either enhance or deplete your quality of life. Ask Ray of Light to help you focus on your vision for the future rather than your fears. See your dreams coming into form. Imagine the tastes, smells, and colors coalescing into a world where you want to live. Ray of Light loves to amplify convictions of beauty. When this energy is balanced, it is able to visualize positive outcomes and bring them into form. When it is imbalanced, it's fixated upon what one doesn't want. To bring into balance, fiercely direct your attention. Wow. All right, so there is definitely this energy in this reading of coming out of the darkness. I mean, it just, everything, I mean, we talked about kind of like Phoenix rising sort of energy, but maybe a better way to put it, or saying the same thing in a different way, is coming out of the darkness. So I'm getting this sense that Spirit, with these cards here, really wanted to meet you where you're at, where you have been, where you currently are, or where you have been in your recent past. Although I'm getting the sense that this was probably a much longer cycle than you had anticipated or wanted it to be. Just a cycle of hardship, frankly, is what's coming to me, of darkness, of void, of having to walk through the void, having to walk in the darkness without seeing a lot of light ahead in terms of hope or in terms of like clarity. And there's been, you know, what the Four of Gifts in reverse is speaking to me of is this dissolving of the illusion of security, which is a really, really beautiful thing, actually, but it's also very, very difficult. And what I see happen here is, as you've dissolved the illusion of security, you've had to meet Five of Pentacles energy. You've had to face it. You've had to look at it. You've had to understand it. which ultimately is such a beautiful part of true abundance, a beautiful part of true vitality and health. But it's not an easy part of the process. But it's been my understanding that facing Five of Pentacles energy, that sort of dis-ease, not belonging, lack energy, whatever form that shows up in your life, it teaches us a lot about what true abundance is. So in your dissolving of the illusions of security, you've let things that maybe once gave you comfort, you've let them crumble, frankly, and you've faced that Five of Pentacles energy. And through that process, it seems that you've taken a step back, I think, in turn, the King of Wands, King of Candles, and the Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Gifts here in reverse. I think you've taken a step back from action and passion. And that's sort of what this Cold Moon and Solstice card from the Yule Oracle talked about as well, right? And that's not easy, especially when we are dealing with a lot of worries, right? But I think it was absolutely necessary. I think you've done some incredible healing work, and Spirit would like to acknowledge you for that, would like to meet you in the dark now and offer this ray of light, telling you it's time to come out of the darkness. You've done such beautiful work in the dark. And it is, as much as our culture would like to shame us for dark seasons where we don't know what we're doing, where things are crumbling, where things are uncomfortable, where we're not maybe taking as much action as, our culture seems to think we should, it's all so necessary in the process of, facing our past so that we're not unconsciously bringing those wounds into the present and the future and becoming ourselves. And now the sort of paradox that is just screaming to me in this reading is, because you've done all this work and you are doing it, now you have the light and the speed available to you. And under these worries, once again, at the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Canes, which is the Nine of Swords, which is a worry card, is vicious cycles of worrying and worrying. Under it, as you're facing this energy, instead of holding it at an arm's length away, you're facing it, you're processing it, you're transmuting it, you are allowing yourself to experience this beautiful energy of light, speed, and comfort. The Nine of Gifts, the Nine of Pentacles is this beautiful, I say comfort because there's such self-sustainability, and not in a way where you're an individualistic way, but more in an interdependent way, where we're not trying to be too individualistic and we're not being codependent, but we're being who we need to be. And then we are entering into communities in a way that makes sense. And we are building ecosystems in our life. So that's social networks, that's professional networks, that's, creative ecosystems, with our true self at the center. And those ecosystems begin over time to reap a harvest that can support ourselves and others, right? And so just outside of this darkness, so to speak, is so much beauty. Again, ray of light, Eight of Candles, Nine of Gifts. And Spirit, I think, wanted to present with all of these cards, letting you know that you're seen in the darkness that you have been in and may still currently be in. You're seen and you're known, and it's not for nothing. And despite how it may feel, and despite how our culture, again, views seasons of darkness, you're doing really great work. Everything that you have been through and are currently going through has been necessary for your growth, for your healing. And on the other side of healing, of course, it's not it's ever done, right? But I do think we go through stages, right? And on the other side of this dark stage is light. We aren't in the darkness forever, even though when we're in the darkness, it can feel that way. right? And so I think honor yourself for being willing to enter the dark. Because you know what? A lot of people will try to maintain their illusions of security instead of being called by their higher self into into uncharted territories, which often become dark seasons where we have to face ourselves. We have to face our wounds. We have to face our shadows. We have to face the realities of our choices. But from that willingness to face all of that, we build capacity. And with that capacity comes this, not only again, like Phoenix rising energy, but then we become like somebody that we trust. Do you know what I mean? And so then life from that point forward, from that season forward, isn't as daunting as it was before going through a season of darkness. And I'm not saying we don't have to go through multiple seasons of darkness in a lifetime. I think we probably do. But when we're like avoiding the season of darkness, we never gain the strength. We never know ourselves as strong, right? What I see here is somebody who has been willing to know themselves as strong because you've been willing to face your weaknesses and deconstruct illusions. It's actually really quite inspiring. And again, I think it's so, you're really being given this, I don't know what to call it, like validation, again, of the work you've done, and the hope that's available to you. And not like hope in a toxic way where you're always, like fantasy thinking about things. This feels like real hope because you have faced the things that are hard to face. So I think you just have so much to be proud of, so much to look forward to. If you are, if this season of darkness is behind you, I think wave goodbye. You've done the work. You're entering into a new season. 8 of Wands, speed, momentum, powerful movement forward, ray of light, focus, out of the darkness into the light, from the 9 of Swords to the 9 of Pentacles, from worry and anxiety to sustainability and harvest. And if you are still in the season, take some deep breaths, take some time to be present with the solitude and know that you are soon entering a different season. Keep doing the work that you've been doing, shadow work, healing work, facing what needs to be faced with understanding instead of shame. And inevitably, you will, like the Phoenix rising, be pulled from the season of darkness to the light that you have walked towards, but didn't even know you were walking towards. You will be pulled on. It's not even, I was going to say like onto a different path. It's not, I don't feel like it's even a different path. It's just like a different part of the path where now the light can be seen. And pretty soon, not only can it be seen, but you'll be walking in the light, being the beacon of light that you were intended to be. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, just like on behalf of the collective, for the healing work that you have been willing to do. This is the sort of work that I think pretty much every human on the planet is being called to do at this point. I don't think a lot of people are answering the call because it's so scary. It's so damn scary. The darkness is scary. But you clearly have answered the call. And as difficult as that is, you have so much to be proud of, because it's when we can walk through the darkness, be with the discomfort, understand the wounds, understand the reality of our choices, versus being in some toxic version of hope, is when we can start to then find true hope and become the people, who are doing the work to ground actual light, not a version of light that is rooted in fantasy thinking. And so once again, you have so much to be proud of. You have so much to look forward to. Keep going. You are moving out of the darkness into the light, and a different season is soon available to you with a completely different, a completely different experience. You know what I mean? Once again, I just feel like when we're in these seasons, it's cold. It's cold. It's dark and it's cold. And it's hard, it can be hard to be reminded that in a different season, there's warmth and comfort. And I think the more that you can bestow that upon yourself by being kind to yourself instead of shaming, the more that's going to open up more quickly. And even if that's difficult to bestow onto yourself, I feel like you're doing the work that you need to do, that soon you're going to enter more of the warmth and comfort that is on the other side of the healing work that we do. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks again for the work that you're doing. And once again, you have so much to be hopeful about. Light is on the way.